Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, those of you that are watching this video. As always, timestamps are in the description if you're not a fan of my beginning introduction shenanigans, but let's begin. So I couldn't go to sleep a couple nights back because this build idea popped into my head. It's probably just me with these kind of build issues, not being able to sleep, whatever. Anyways, I've been wanting to try this build since the beginning of the Deadlands DLC, but then just a couple nights ago, it's like, you gotta try this build, and then I couldn't sleep, and then here I am making this video, and oh my goodness, let's talk about it. So if you're out of the loop, you didn't know, this patch, Deadlands, ZeniMax decided that proc sets need to get looked at, and then, they gave all proc sets that proc instantly or something, like a 1 second delay, and, well, except the ones that, have some sort of telegraph to them, and I thought heavy attacks and charging crystal weapon was a big telegraph because that takes like 3 seconds to prepare that combo. But anyways, if you played PvP last patch, you are very familiar with the one-shot stam sorc build. Well, I just wanted to test a build on you. It's very obnoxious.
I love these sets. I was curious. Yes.
I didn't even get stealth.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Okay, this is good. It's okay. This man legit rolled off the edge of the map.
Why you bullying me?
Like that. That's dumb.
Woo! That was a lot of fun.
Thank you, Phil. I talked to him not too long ago. He said if you like my content, you should consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing to the channel, because it really helps out. Yeah, Phil said that. He sent this video to me shortly after he said that. Yeah, I'm not sure what that really means, but I haven't heard from him in about 4 months, so hopefully he's okay. But yes, this is another gank build. I know. Look, I don't get it either, okay? Maybe it's because I'm just sick and tired of dying to lag, so then I just go to a Nightblade and then everything works out. But, this one's actually very, very, very fun because it can one-shot people. Yes. And this build can 1vx, and that surprised me because of the way that this character is built. It's not really made for that kind of combat, but So this build is a bit tricky to learn, but that's only for the survival part of this build. If you want to try and survive, you really need to know what you're doing, and you really need to know how to survive and manage everything while you're under pressure. But the killing part of this build, yeah, well, anyone can do it. So it is for that reason I give it a solid 3 out of 5 stars for its rating. The gear itself is a pain to farm, but once you get everything and you put it together, it's very rewarding. The one thing I ask that you do is please use this build responsibly, okay? Daggum, if I'm gonna post this, I'm putting a risk by putting this set out there, so hopefully it doesn't get too bad. But you know, if I wouldn't have posted this video, then someone else would have figured it out eventually. Probably sometime this patch. You know, someone probably already has figured it out. I'm just lazy and I'm not going to go look around. And as a result, this set is going to get nerfed. So I gave you another option besides this set. Okay? You'll figure out which set is in a second. Okay? Okay, taking a look at our attributes, we have no points in magic. We have 54 points into health. And we have 10 points into stamina. So for our stats, this is the front bar unbuffed. If you need a pause, go ahead. And for our back bar, these are the stats unbuffed. Getting a little bit of buffage going, this is the front bar, and this is the back bar. On this build, we are a Khajiit, of course, for the passives that we get. Khajiit would be my first choice for this kind of build, as Robustness gives us all of our recoveries for every resource, Lunar Blessings gives us more max stats for each resource, and Feline Ambush increases our critical damage and healing done, plus this passive makes us a hide-and-seek pro. If you're not a Khajiit, Dark Elf, Orc, or Imperial would work too, or any race for that matter, as long as you have the skill to back up your playstyle, but Khajiit definitely brings out the best in this build. On this build, we are Vampire Stage 3. We are Stage 3 for the passive Undeath, which gives us a good amount of mitigation, and also all the other passives that we get with being a vampire pair extremely well with being a Nightblade. For our Mundus, we are using the Serpent, which gives us stamina recovery. This pairs very well with our food, our potions, and rally. So that way we get a lot of stamina recovery so we can stay in the fight a lot longer and be able to deal out more damage for a lot longer as well. Okay, for our consumables, since we are a vampire, I always keep a few of these on hand. Corrupting Bloody Mara, this will take us instantly to stage 4, and then we have Purifying Bloody Mara to lower our stage, so we can be a vampire and manage that on the go. For our food, we are using Lavafoot Soup and Salt Rice. This is a very good food. It gives us maximum stamina and great stamina recovery. You could use Orzorgus Smoked Bear Haunch or Jewels of Misrule, but I get better results with Lavafoot. For our potion, we are using Tri-Stat Potions, giving us all of our resources back when we use it, and giving us recoveries for each of those resources as well, helping with our sustain. And go ahead and grab the passive medicinal use from the alchemy tree so you can get a lot more usage out of your potions. Hello everyone and welcome to my video. I would urge you to stay through the entire video so you can actually understand what we're doing, but here's the gear. Do note we are not using any weapon poisons on this build. So on our front bar we have Calorian's Legacy Sword with an Absorb Stamina enchantment, and it is Nirnhond, and this is what the set does if you don't know what it does. On our offhand we have Calorian's Legacy Sword with a Shock enchantment, and it is charged so we can proc those status effects. On our back bar, we have the Veitishran's Greatsword with a weapon damage enchantment, and it is powered, and I would pick powered over defending on this specific build. For our head, we are using Calorian's Legacy Hat with a Tri-Stat enchantment, and it is Divines. For our chest, we are using Flame Blossom Jerkin with a Tri-Stat enchantment, and it is Divines, and please see the timestamp so I can actually explain this set to you. For our shoulder, we are using Balorg's Arm Cops, so it's medium. It has a stamina enchantment on it, and it is well fitted, and we have this for the one-piece weapon and spell damage. For our belt, we are using Calorian's Legacy Sash with a stamina enchantment. It is well fitted. For our hands, we are using Flame Blossom Gloves with a stamina enchantment, and they are Divines. For our legs, we have Flame Blossom Breeches with a Tri-Stat enchantment, and it is well fitted. For our foots, we are using Flame Blossom Shoes with a stamina enchantment, and they are Divines. For our neck, we are using Calorian's Legacy Necklace with a weapon damage enchantment, and it is infused. For our first ring, we have a Flame Blossom Ring with a weapon damage enchantment, and it is swift. And for our second ring, we are using the Marken Ring of Majesty with a weapon damage enchantment, and it is swift, and here's what it does. So at this point, if you start subtracting certain pieces, the build starts to change a lot, but if you don't have the Marken Ring of Majesty, you can use the Ring of the Wild Hunt or Death Dealer's Fate. Do not use Malakath, because that just nukes your critical damage. And if you have no mythic rings, you can just use a trainee ring in its place. If you don't have a Veitishran's Greatsword or any Veitishran 2 hands, you can just use a trainee Greatsword in its place. And most people don't seem to realize that we're using swords because when you have a sword equipped, it increases your weapon and spell damage, which in turn increases your healing power because your healing is based off of how much weapon or spell damage that you have, which I'll have to make a video on eventually. But also we're using Calorian's swords because we want to get as much damage out of our proc sets as possible since they scale off of weapon and spell damage. So I know not a lot of you are going to have access to Flame Blossom, so in its place you can actually use Red Mountain and get very similar results. And also Red Mountain is medium, whereas Flame Blossom is not, but Flame Blossom is just something else. So that's why in my preference I'm using Flame Blossom over Red Mountain, but like I said, they give you similar results. And if you can get Flame Blossom or you have access to it, you should use it. Even if you're going to be an all light on a melee spec, you'll be surprised. Alright, on our front bar, our first skill is Whirling Blades. This is an execute and an amazing AoE spammable, very powerful. Next up we have Camo Hunter. We have this here for the savagery that it gives us and the minor berserk that we get when we attack someone from behind, and also having it slotted gives us access to some good Fighters Guild passives. Next up we have Reaper's Mark. We have Reaper's Mark because while it's slotted with our assassination skills we get more critical chance, and also if someone dies, which they will, we'll get Major Berserk, increasing our damage done by 10%. So we have access to Major and Minor Berserk, so we hit even harder, and this also scales with our proc sets. Next up, we have Surprise Attack. This is a very, very good skill for the Nightblade. Very cheesy to use, especially on other people. I find half the time my target is out of range though, and they need to fix that. Next up, we have Relentless Focus. This is our burst skill. Every time we light or heavy attack, we get a stack of this, and at 5 stacks, we can use the bow, which hits stupidly hard. Also, just having stacks increases our weapon and spell damage, which is very nice. For our front bar ultimate, we are using Incapacitating Strike. We are using Incapacitating Strike for one while it's slotted with assassination passives. Of course, we get more crit chance. Also, we get Reeve, so every time we light or heavy attack, we get more resources back. And then you cast this, and then you hit him with the bow, they get nuked. And also, they need to fix this skill, because half the time I'm trying to cast it, it just decides instead it wants to charge up for its 120 cost. Then I can't actually hit my target, and then they get away, and then I don't get the kill, and then I get mad. On our back bar, we have Race Against Time, giving us access to Major Expedition and Minor Force, so we run faster and our crits hit harder, and also, this gets us out of snares. Next up, we have Resolving Vigor, a very good stamina heal. This is our heal over time and helps us out when we need it. Next up, we have Leeching Strikes. This is our sustain skill. When this is active, our light and heavy attacks give us resources back, and also, we can just spam this to get our Vatestrand stacks up. Following that, we have Rally, giving us Major Brutality, increasing our weapon damage done, Minor Endurance, increasing our stam recovery, and it's a burst heal, and gives us access to the Vatestrand proc, and this is a very good skill. Next up, we have Shadowy Disguise, the saving grace of this build, because if we didn't have this skill, we would not be able to run the armor sets that we're running as effectively as we can run them. Also, this literally negates everything, so this is a very, very, very powerful skill. And you're invisible, because why not? And our back bar ultimate, we have Soul Tether. This is here, so if we're surrounded by a bunch of people, we can cast this. It heals us when we use it, also it stuns them, and it hits really, really hard from stealth as well. And of course, fill out all the passives that you can, your class passives, your weapon passives, your armor passives, your guild passives, etc, etc, etc. There's a lot, but make sure you get the medicinal use passive from the alchemy tree. Okay, taking a look at our champion points, in the role player tree, we have Master Gatherer, Treasure Hunter, Plentiful Harvest, and Steed's Blessing. And also, you might want to check out this little yellow star right here. Okay, in the Sweaty tree, we have Fighting Finesse, Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, and Untamed Aggression. I tried Backstabber in place of Untamed Aggression, but I get way better results, and also I like having more damage with my proc sets from Untamed Aggression. In the Potato tree, we have Celerity, Relentlessness, Sustained by Suffering, and Slippery. If I were to change anything, I would actually remove Relentlessness and put on Survival Instincts, but I like Relentlessness because I need that major protection when I get stunned. And also fill out all the little yellow stars as well, but aim for those passives. Okay, our rotation is not very difficult as we're carried by our sets, but so basically you just buff up, and it's optional whether or not you want to use Reaper's Mark, but I generally tend not to unless I know I'm going to get the kill, because if you mark someone, they're going to prepare because they know they're about to get ganked, so you got to know how to use it mindfully. So buff up as you would, and you're in stealth of course because you need to get this combo off. And then you're going to move in on them, right? And then you want to get behind them. This is the key. You got to get behind them, and you got to stand behind them when you get your combo off. So you open with a heavy attack, right? And as soon as the heavy attack lands, surprise attack, okay? And then your proc sets will go off, and they'll pretty much be dead, and all you gotta do is spin. But if they're not, just weave your light attacks in between your surprise attacks, and then wait until your end cap is ready. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna use your incapacitating strike, and then you should have your bow proc by this point, and you're gonna use your bow proc right after you hit your end cap. So that way your bow is empowered by your end cap, so then you just delete people. So with the Deadlands DLC also came a change to how proc sets work. You cannot proc instant procs together at the same time like you used to. Like I had one-shot stamp, so I can't do that no more. However, that rule only applied to sets that instantly procced, unlike some other sets that have telegraphs or have a 1-second delay like Calorians and Red Mountain and Flame Blossom. Sauce made this change because they were talking about how there's no counterplay with those kind of sets. Well, the thing is, those sets did have counterplay. You just hold block or roll dodge, and also, if they have to proc off of a heavy attack, that's a really long telegraph in and of itself. Anyways, we're able to get very similar results. Though it is easier for people to just dodge or move out of the way of this combo, they really can't in lag, and that's why this build works so well. So basically, Calorians, it procs whenever you get a light or heavy attack when it's a crit, right? Well, Cloak guarantees our next attack is going to be a crit, so that's why we open with heavy attack, so we guarantee the Calorians proc. So that means they're stunned, and if they don't break free in that time, which you normally can't because this game don't work, you're going to get hit by Calorians. And same with Flame Blossom or Red Mountain, whenever you deal damage, those sets proc. And they're stunned, so if they don't break free, they're going to get hit by those sets. But here's why I prefer Flame Blossom over Red Mountain. I forgot to test that with it. The other one's a little bit more difficult. So here's...
Gotcha.
Yeah, it goes right through block. You see that?
Yep.
No. No, that should have definitely been a dodge through it. Okay, you can't roll dodge through it either. That's amazing. Yes, that's right. You can't dodge or block Flame Blossom. So, you're still going to guarantee at least one of your proc sets hits, and Flame Blossom still hits really, really hard. Talk about no counterplay, huh, Zoss? You're still going to be able to get big dummy numbers with Red Mountain. With Red Mountain, they can easily dodge or block it. It's not the case with Flame Blossom, but look at this. 12k Red Mountain. That is on par with my Merciless proc. Bruh. So before this video gets too long, and I'll probably have to just make an entire video about these things, these are some things I just need to address because these are common concerns most people have with the builds that I make. So out of the gate, I know a common concern is going to be, oh, but we're in a lot of light armor. Isn't that very detrimental? Yes, whenever we get hit, we take a bunch of damage from physical attacks. We are very squishy on this build. But like I said, Cloak negates everything, and we're invisible when we use it. And we also move very, very fast on this character. So when you combine all those things together with knowledge of how to line in sight and just generally survive and keep your heals up and your buffs up, you do as well as you would with medium armor, if not probably just a little bit better. What I'm saying is I haven't noticed a difference between running medium armor versus running light armor. If someone's going to hit you hard, they're going to hit you hard, and there's not much you can do about it. Another common concern would be our low stamina pool. I said it in my last video, my last build video, that a big stamina pool is completely useless if there's no stamina in it, so that's why we have very high sustain and a really low stam pool. Because I'd much rather have resources that I can actually use that come back to me, instead of actually just having a big number there instead. And another thing is just about survivability. This build isn't the easiest thing to survive on, especially in lag. If you get stunned on this build, it's like a one and done thing. You definitely are a glass cannon, but the more you practice with this build, the better you will get at it. Starting out though, it might be a bit tough to figure out, but I like this kind of build, and this is definitely my kind of play style. Very fast and hard hitting, and I don't like to make mistakes, so when I make mistakes I get punished for it with this build. So then I grow and I improve and I get better. If I forgot anything in this section, or you have another concern you'd like me to address in this build, just leave it in the comment section. I'll get back to it. Probably, maybe. And I do believe that about covers it for this build, in this build video. And definitely seeing something interesting with Flame Blossom. That set is probably going to receive some attention from ZeniMax. So you better go out and get it now while it's still hot. Get it? Yeah, okay. Anyways, if you enjoy my style of content, you found this entertaining, informative, helpful, and you like the builds and you like seeing this kind of videos and these kind of stuffs, then please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like on this video and sharing this video too, and leaving a comment, all of it and everything. Anything you could do to help out is very much appreciated, and it's nice to know that people watch my content. Please also check the description of this video, because normally I put stuff in the description of the video that I forgot to mention during the video and through editing. And I love making content for you guys, as it's really fun to make these skits and prepare these kind of videos, and especially play these really strange builds that end up working out. And I'd like to do more of this stuff in the future. At the moment, I got a stam sorc planned, and also I got plans to make that understanding combat stuff in ESO. I already have a video about how to get better at combat, but not understanding things about combat. Okay. But yeah, I can't think of anything else I need to say here and now in this moment where I got this microphone. I just muted myself. So good night. Last one, yeah, you could look in the comments, and it might be, comments, you know.